Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to this really interesting tutorial on Adobe After Effects. My name is TJ Style, and in today's video I'm going to show you how did I create a character introduction in Adobe After Effects. And it's actually pretty easy, but it's just a matter of imagination and how can you use different elements in After Effects. But anyways, let's take a look at what are we going to be creating. So it is those kind of effects that you see in movies, in interviews. And I really wanted to make something like this because I was actually working on an AMV. And I was browsing some different AMVs on YouTube, and I came across this effect, so I decided to recreate this in After Effects. And it turned out pretty good. Actually, before when I was trying, it didn't work out so well, and I was like, I need to do it again, or should I quit, or what should I do? Then I started again, and this time it did go good, and we ended up with this thing. Now the first step in this tutorial is actually outside After Effects. Okay, before getting into this effect, you need to have a few elements for you to use for this effect. For example, if I just wait a sec, I'll just show it to you properly. First, you're going to be needing a few textures, so that it can act as a good background. And I'm going to be using this red texture. And by the way, this red texture is available for download. The link is going to be in the description. Then we need a good photograph. Now in my case, I'm going to be using a video, but I turned that into a photograph. I'm going to show you how. Then I used a few paint strokes. Now these are supposed to be Video Copilot products from Ger-Eng. Then we have this stroke effect, which acts like a underlining effect for our text. Then we have the spikes that pull the full effect together. You can even replace the spikes with a nice warm vignette effect. Just a normal black vignette would do. Then I added some shape layers, and I finally did this whole thing. So I'm going to show you how did I do all this. Okay, and like I said, the first steps toward this tutorial is outside After Effects. You need to do a Google search, maybe go to videocopilot.net. If you have the money, get Ger-Eng. It's a very good product. Okay, you can check out a few tutorials from that website too. They have some great tutorials on After Effects, by the way. You can check them out. Or if you're just practicing and you don't want to use your money right now on Ger-Eng, then you can go to Google search. Maybe do some Google search on images, on brush strokes and spikes, something like this, a good texture maybe. And for the photo, you can use your own photograph, but I've decided to use a video. And now once you have a good understanding on what you're going to be needing, let's get started with the tutorial. Okay, now I actually took out a chunk of this whole video, and the chunk was somewhere like 1 minute long. Now so I had to do a little bit of editing, and I have done that behind the scenes. Okay, so I'm not going to show you the process of editing in After Effects. That's actually very that's actually not even needed. You can do the editing in the converter itself. I'm pretty sure most of the converters these days come with a trimmer part software, so you can use that. But I would advise you to work with high resolution video file. For example, you need to be using somewhere like a full 1080 HD file. And then what you need to do is, okay, once you have got that HD file in After Effects, create a 720p composition. So you can see, you can name the composition, use any preset, but make sure it is 720p. Now, so that what happens is, now this is a 720p, and if I bring in this original clip, you will see that this is a little bigger than these two clips. And what happens is, just in case if you ever want to zoom into a particular character, if for example, I was working on this character introduction for Sasuke Uchiha. You can see that how Sasuke is all blurry and not well. The whole thing does not really look good because the main character itself, is not properly organized. You can see all the blurriness on the pixelation. So to avoid that, work with the HD file, okay, and then try to compress it into a 720p composition. All right, that's a small tip I want to give. Now I have done the editing once again. I told you this. So we have a composition over here that he opens his eyes, Itachi, and then we have the face shot. So what you need to do is you need to come over here and decide the proper frame. For example, now if you see, he moves like this, and so like this cannot be used. So this shot is really good. do a right click, go to time and go to freeze frame. Okay, and that, like, stops the whole video at this particular frame. So if I was to like move anywhere in this video or anywhere in this video file, you can see that it is freezed at 37 seconds and 6 frames, and that's good. Okay, now once that's done, you need to mask out Itachi. And since the whole like in the end the full effect is going to be on a texture, you do not need to do a multiplication of the video, because you're going to in the end bring a texture for the background. So just simply go use your pen tool, and you can hit the J key on the if I remember well. Oh no, it's a G key. Yeah, it's a G key, I'm sorry, it's not the J key. Hit the G key on the keyboard for selecting your pen tool, and then just make a mask from this video file. I'm gonna pause my video right now in order to do this, because it takes me somewhere like 5 full minutes, I think, to mask out Itachi. I'm gonna pause my video. Okay, so I have completed my masking, and this is how he looks now. Okay, so I have ripped this Itachi off the background, and we have a black background now. Now what you need to do is you need to make this into a 3D layer, right? Select it, hit the P key on the keyboard, go to the first frame of this video, start the animation, and make the Z value very, very high, actually in minus numbers, so minus 1800. And what we are trying to effect or get is that flyby effect. So this first frame is supposed to be like the Itachi is nowhere to be seen. Okay, then shift page down, that jumps 10 frames, and hit the 0 key, and it comes back. So now we have a basic animation of like this. And I'm gonna hit the B key over here so that we don't need to watch the eyes part again and again. And this is good. Actually, so now it comes like this, and this is really, really good. Now what you can do is you can bring in your texture. I actually have it over here, and this texture is available on download. It's actually a pretty good one. You can see, very organic, very, very nice. It's actually a stock footage that I got, so I'm getting I'm giving it to you for free. If you want, check it out. As you can see, it really looks good in the background also. And right now I have my I have reduced my resolution to quarter. If I was to make it full, you'll see it really, really looks good. It's actually a little too much, so what we will do is we will add a blur effect, but that's gonna come in the end. I'm gonna reduce it down to quarter once again. Hit the, and just make sure that your texture also is now a 3D layer. Hit the P key on the keyboard, go back to the first frame of this video, and just copy your position keyframes. Copy, Control C, select your position by clicking on the word position. Come over here, make sure that the CTI is at the first frame, press Control V, and you have applied those same keyframes. But the problem is that once this whole animation is done, it just stays stable like this, and this is not what we want. We want a little bit of motion. So what we will do is we'll go ahead in time, and we will make Itachi. Actually, you know what, just come down to the second frame for Itachi and move him to the left or to the right, depending on what you are doing. So what happens is we have a little bit of room for him to move to the right, or to the left actually. So you can see this. Oh, sorry, wait a sec. Yes, what? Where do you go? What the hell? Oh, yeah. This is actually a very interesting effect that is there in After Effects. What actually After Effects is doing right now, it is creating auto Bezier keyframes. So I need to select both of these keyframes, do a right click, and this thing comes up. And this is actually very, very irritating, because After Effects does this a lot of times. Do a right click, go to keyframe interpolation, and you'll see it is auto Bezier. Click on auto Bezier and make it linear, click OK, and now it will be good. Now if you play it, it has a little bit of motion. You can see this, and this is kind of good, but you don't want so much motion. This is very, very fast. We just want a subtle motion, so we'll change this down to maybe 780 maybe. Now let's play it. Yeah, very, very slow, very subtle, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. Really good. And now what I'll do is I'll make the texture go in the opposite direction. So we have the texture over here, and now since Sasuke or Itachi is moving from right to the left, we will have the texture go from left to right. Okay, so we have it like this, and we just want a very subtle movement once again, you know, nothing heavy. And you can see that, you know, the same thing is happening with the texture. You can see that, you know, that small loop it's making, that's again because of keyframe interpolation. So select both of these keyframes by marquee selection, do a right click, and this will come up. This is really irritating, guys. Select both of these, do a right click, keyframe interpolation, go to Adobe Bezier, linear, and this is gonna be good. Okay, now if you are following along with me, so you know what we'll do, we'll take a break now. Okay, this is the part 1 tutorial. I'll break the full tutorial into 2 parts. You can watch the second part to learn how did I complete the full effect. Okay, and I'm gonna stop my video now, and I'll continue in the part 2 tutorial. Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and I hope you watch the part 2 tutorial also, in which we will discover a few new tricks and techniques. So please keep on watching.